Okay, in the meanwhile, thank you, everyone. I'm Massimo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AdEspresso. As you can hear, I'm Italian, of course, but don't worry. If I'm going to say anything funny and you don't laugh, I will assume you didn't understand, and I'll keep repeating it. Like every Italian, I love food. And Facebook advertising is the most amazing fridge you have ever seen. You have so many ingredients at your disposals. Many ad unit, demographic and interest targeting, custom audiences. You really have a huge amount of opportunities. And we all know what all these opportunities means. Infinite opportunities to screw up. Today, I'm going to share with you how we built our growth engine with Facebook ads for AdEspresso and how you can build your. And I'm talking about cooking, not about recipes, for a very simple reason. Recipes just don't work. They work pretty well on Google AdWords. Google AdWords is demand fulfillment. You need something, you perform a search, you find an ad, and you buy the product. What works today is going to work tomorrow and very likely is going to work in a year from now. But Facebook advertising is pretty different. It's a social network. You don't go on Facebook to make decisions. Actually, people go on Facebook to avoid making decisions. You go on Facebook to check out what your friends are doing, to find interesting news, and most of all, of course, to see a lot of pictures of kittens. It's demand generation. You are not targeting someone because of what they need right now, but because of who they are. So you are male, 18, 35, you are interested in TechCrunch. I'm going to show you an ad. You don't need my product right now, but maybe you are going to discover it, you are going to like my brands, and you are going to become a customer. There are so many differences based on the industry, on demographic, etc. What works today probably won't work tomorrow, and I can guarantee you that the tactics that you read today are not going to work in a year from now. And most of the tactics that you read on blog are actually were written a year before, so don't trust them. In this cooking class today, we are going to check a full meal. So we are going to start with an appetizer, a soup, an entree, and a dessert. Let's get started with the appetizer. The goal of our appetizer is to drive a lot of traffic to our website. I'm losing there today. I don't know why. Anyway, we want a lot of traffic for cheap. We want to convert total strangers into visitors. And the ingredients that we are going to use is awesome content. The metric that we are going to monitor, of course, is the cost per click. We want to acquire this traffic as cheap as possible. Some cooking tips. First of all, please make valuable content. If you're writing something, make it useful, add some value for your readers. There are 3.5 million blog posts published every day. And most of them, I can guarantee you, are crap. For example, let's take social media world, which is the one I know best. If you read 95% of those articles, at some point, usually it's the first tip, they are going to suggest you that you should be open and transparent. What the fuck, of course. What should I be, close and shady when I'm doing a social media strategy? And this is just one of many examples. So provide real value to your customer. And then the other truth is that probably no one is going to read your content, but they are going to share it because the title is really appealing. They are going to click it because the title is appealing. When I started blogging for AdEspresso, I was writing stuff like 7 top Facebook ads error. And the content was pretty good, but no one was clicking on it because it's not really appealing. You should add storytelling. You should make it more engaging. If you write something like the 7 Facebook ads that costed me nearly $250,000, people will really want to read the article and will share it, even if they don't read it. Finally, we really find it useful to make our brand recognizable. We have our mascot. We always use the same design approach for all our blog posts. And this way, people recognize us. When they see an ad in their newsfeed, they immediately understand, oh, that's from AdEspresso. They write great content. I'm going to click on that one. So this is very useful. Let's summarize our recipe. Catchy title, prompt for engagement, ask to user for comments, likes, sharing, and so on. In terms of targeting, we are going to be very broad because we want to acquire as many visitors as possible. So you can target 1, 2 million people, it's totally fine. You should target countries where you are selling the product. I often talk with customers, they just tell me, yeah, I'm targeting Brazil because it's super cheap. Okay, but are you selling your product in Brazil? No, I'm just selling in US, but I enjoy the free traffic, the very cheap traffic. That doesn't make sense. And of course, you should target by interest. So you can target, for example, your competitors, the main blog in your industry, and so on. In terms of placement, you can place your ad wherever you want. Desktop, right column, mobile, wherever. If they click, it's good for you. They're going to discover your company. So place it wherever you want. And in terms of bidding, use the optimized CPM bidding, optimized for website click. This is an algorithmic optimization that Facebook does. And basically, they are going to display your ads to more people that are likely to click on the ad. Every time you cook something, of course, you have to taste it. And with advertising, you have to test it. In this stage, the most important thing to test is the audience. You want to understand which kind of audience, which demographic works better for you. So my suggestion, and many people told this morning, don't focus on a single strategy, but build the process. You should start testing broad experiments like male versus female, old people versus young people. And once you find something that is working, you can then refine it. You can test smaller age ranges and so on. And let's move to the soup. So we have acquired visitors. They now know something about us. But right now, we don't know anything about them because they just visited our blog or website and they left immediately. So the goal here is lead generation. We want this user to become lead, to give us their information, their data, whatever you want. Usually it's at least the email and the name, but you can ask for more information. And to cook our soup, we are going to use lead magnets. And there is an amazing talk about lead magnets later on today. And of course, the metric that you want to monitor is the cost per lead. So how much you are paying to acquire that lead. Most common lead magnets, you can write an ebook on your industry. So it could be a recipe book. It could be a book on Facebook advertising, whatever works for your audience. You can have webinar. People really enjoy webinar because if they are live, they can ask you information. And usually video works very well. It's a very high value perceived. You can do checklists, which are very quick for you to make and are really effective for the user. So a one-pager PDF with very actionable tips on what they should do. You can do giveaway. We did a giveaway for tickets for the event today. Just don't give away an iPad because everyone is going to sign up. You want to give away something that is related to your industry and that will attract meaningful users. Finally, email courses works pretty well as well. A couple of tips. When you acquire a lead, you want to convert them very quickly into customer because that's the end goal, to make money. If you provide as a lead generation tool a video course that lasts 6 months, probably you are not going to convert those users for 6 months into customers. So make something that can provide immediate gratification and that it's very quick to consume. The other suggestion is to correlate the ask with the value perceived by the user. If you are providing a curated newsletter, that can make sense, but the users don't perceive it as very high value. So you want probably to only ask for the email and the name, maybe. If you are providing an ebook, you can ask many more information. Their industry, how much they are spending in Facebook advertising, their phone number, whatever you want, but you can ask many more information. And finally, there is no one-size-fits-all lead magnet. Don't try to be generic and to please everyone because you are not going to convert. Just think about it. Let's say you want to cook something, you are on Facebook and you find on your newsfeed an ad for this lead magnet, 100 recipes for everyone. There are thousands of ebooks on recipes. You are probably not going to click on this ad. But on the other side, if it's very specific, 7 recipes for starving CEOs approved by Dave McClure, this is going to work very well as a lead magnet. So you should be very specific about your lead magnet. Try to address a very specific problem. In terms of design, clear call to action. Highlight the problem that you are trying to solve with your lead magnet. Like here, Are your Facebook advertising underperforming? In terms of targeting, is not a big issue, because what we are going to do is we are going to use website custom audiences. It's basically retargeting. Whoever visited your website in the last 60 days, you are going to target them with advertising. You don't need to care anymore about male, female, interest, and so on. And of course, we are going to exclude from our audience everyone that already downloaded an ebook or already got one of our lead generation tools, because we already have their data. There is no meaning in paying twice to acquire their information. In terms of placement, this is a bit debated. Mobile right now is huge on Facebook. It's going to drive most of the traffic to your lead magnet, landing page, and so on. But it's still not converting very well. So if you only want to ask for the email, it's totally fine to target the mobile as well. But if you want the user to fill out a longer form, 5 fields, more information, I will honestly only stick with desktop, both on the newsfeed and the right column of Facebook, but I would exclude the mobile. Otherwise, you can think a very smart solution. I actually saw one yesterday. It's not here, but I saw a lead magnet where the guys were asking, hey, we know that you are on the mobile. Leave us your Twitter handle, and we are going to tweet you the link of the full landing page. So when you get back on the desktop, you can download the lead magnet. If you target mobile, that can make sense. And in terms of bid, of course, we are going, again, with an optimized CPM, optimize this time for conversion. So be sure to have the conversion pixel in your thank you page so that Facebook can understand which kind of user is more likely to download the ebook and is going to send you more people like that. In terms of testing, there's not much to test here on the targeting because we are targeting visitors. So you can run some follow-on experiment, but it's not very important. What I really suggest you to test is the design of the ad. This is the best place to test the design. And again, the approach that I suggest is to start with very broad experiment. Like in this one, we tested 2 totally different pictures. One is photographic, and the other one is white. You cannot even read the book, and I would have never guessed that the one on the right will perform better, but actually it did perform 143% better. Once we got the winner, we fine-tuned our experiment, and we tried if a green call to action would perform better than the white one, and it did. So we did another small improvement of 13%. But don't focus at the beginning on testing just the color of the button or the text inside the call to action, because they provide smaller improvement. Try things that are totally different that can really provide breakthrough improvement to your Facebook advertising. Okay, it's time to get the money. The entree is where we are going to convert all those leads into paying customers. And we are going to use, of course, Facebook advertising, but in this stage, you can also use other marketing channel if it works for you. So you can do drip email, you could use Google AdWords to do retargeting, display network, whatever you want. And in terms of metrics, of course, our cost per conversion, our cost to acquire a customer. But if you can, I would also suggest you to use the conversion pixel from Facebook to pass the revenue to Facebook. This way, you'll be able to track the real ROI of your advertising. Sometimes there are some ads that have a very good cost per conversion, but they drive low-quality customers that buy very cheap product. While on the other side, you have customers where the cost per acquisition is higher, but the overall return on investment is much, much better. Couple of suggestions. Use buyer persona. This is so effective. When I started advertising at AdEspresso, I was super generic. Hey, why don't you buy our Facebook Ads Manager? And right now, instead, we try to understand who are our customers, and we address their specific need. So startup, we only want to grow. We don't care about anything else. Boost your startup growth with Facebook Ads optimization. If you are an agency, you are probably more focused on saving time and not wasting too much time with your customers. Save time and money managing your customer Facebook ads. Social proof. Fear is extremely effective when users have to buy something. They fear of making the wrong choice, of looking like a fool, of buying the wrong product. If you can add social proof like Fiverr, 1 million users already bought on Fiverr. 2,000 people are going to the startup conference, and we also have Robert Scoble. This is going to work extremely well. And finally, add call to action. Tell the user what you have to do next. This is going to improve your conversion rate a lot, because when the user clicks on the ad and ends up in the landing page, their brain is already thinking, what should I do next? You should click sign up on our trial. You should click on buy, and so on. Last couple of tips on the design. Try to talk benefit, not feature. No one wake up in the morning and say, today I want to buy a Facebook Ads Manager. Today I want to buy a CRM tool. What they want to buy is having more time at work to do more interesting tasks, and so on. In terms of targeting, website custom audiences and custom audiences. So we are targeting all the users that left their email in the first step, in the lead generation. And again, we are going to target the desktop, newsfeed, and right column. Testing, you should test both your ads and your landing page. Very often the ads work very well, but the landing page is not as effective. Also try different value proposition. For example, for AdEspresso, we can test save time with AdEspresso or improve your Facebook ads with AdEspresso. 3 minutes, I'm running late, of course. The side is a dish that very often you don't need to provide to cook, but sometimes you are in a very tough market where it's very hard to convince your customer to become customer. They don't want to pay. And what works very well here is Tripwire, an offer that they cannot refuse. Columbia Records actually built their business on this. You offer your leads a crazy offer, 13 records for just $1. And probably they are losing money here, but they understood that the important was to acquire a database of customers. That once they had paid the first dollar, they were immediately ready for upsell. So after they pay you the first dollar on an offer where you are not earning anything, you can immediately upsell. Hey, you paid us $1, but you know what? We are going to offer you a 60% discount if you buy the full product, which is $69. And most of them are going to upgrade immediately once they psychologically change their state of mind from just visitors into customers. The dessert is really changed from company to company, is where you maximize the value of your customer. And that really changed from company to company. So for example, for a SaaS business, you probably want to reduce churn and you want to have a referral program where your customer will bring in more users. If you are an e-commerce, you probably want to do upselling. There are many strategies that you can apply here. The best one is always be very friendly. These guys now are customers, they love you. Be very personal. Hey, you have been our customer for a year, we love you, and we are going to give you a t-shirt for free because we really enjoyed having you as a customer. Finally, and I'm done, this was an overview on the whole funnel, on all the steps that you can take to convert strangers into customers and promoters. You don't always have to cook all of this. So if you have a consumer product and you have a great blog, I will just go to acquire visitors and then try to convert them immediately into customer. If you have a consumer product and you have an incredibly low price or it's something that people really want to buy, you can just do the entry and immediately advertise to get customers. But if you are a B2B product, maybe with an high price point and you have a sales team, you don't want to waste money on advertising for users to buy your product. You only want a lots of phone number, a lots of email, and you can only acquire traffic and leads, and then pass all those leads to your sales team. If you are a SaaS self-service like us, you can do the whole funnel. Thank you. Time is over.